And we are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode of Vaughn Coleman Presents. I am, of course, your host, Vaughn Coleman. And before we get started, before I introduce my guest, I do want to bring something up. And that is so I am writing a few books at the moment, and this one is very exciting. So, for those of you that watch me a lot, me and my buddy Bobby, we're very good friends. He's an artist, and he had this idea, and he said, "You know what? You want to write this for me?" And I leaped at the opportunity, and that is this book called Brew Tour. So basically, it's like almost like Mad Max meets the Hulk with a bunch of other really cool elements that I don't want to spoil. So make sure to check that out. Sign up. I am going to put that link in the description right now, or in the chat, I should say. And when you do that, you get a free trading card. So everyone make sure to get that. And now that I'm done, shamelessly self-promoting, guys, let's bring in my guest who has some really interesting stuff that I really want to check out. So without further ado, Dave Brink. How you doing, Dave?
Hi. Hi, Vaughn. Is that your book, The Brew Tour?
Well, yes and no. So I'm writing it, but it's my buddy it is my book in that sense, but it's like my buddy's IP. It's
Oh, really?
his idea. Yeah.
All right.
But
I just signed up to that today. So
oh, really?
yes,
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I mean, it better be.
it has
Otherwise, I
one
not.
picture, but it's one picture that draws attention, man.
Oh
It's
yeah,
looks
oh
good.
yeah. That's the opening of the book. He wanted to open on a double page spread,
Okay.
and I was
Well,
just
you
watching
can't.
that.
You can't really open on a double page spread.
See, that's the thing is he was like, because what he argued was because you know how comics, and I'm learning. This is one of the things I learned more about because you read so many comics, but it's not really until you think about it critically, all these little things. Like I remember sending a script to someone and he goes, these double page spread things don't match. It's even to odd. And that
Right.
blew my mind. But he basically argued, I have what issue did I just grab? Pit number 1. Okay. Hopefully this doesn't
It's
destroy my
awesome.
argument. Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but a friend got it. So like see how it's like right there you have like the credits page. My friend is gonna do right here and have the credits on the double page spread
Oh,
for a Brutor.
all right. So the double page spread is the inside cover.
Yeah, because
Also.
he felt, why waste that page? And honestly, I think that's a really cool idea. But enough
Oh,
about me. Let's talk about you. So you have what? You've crowdfunded 16 books. Have you crowdfunded all of
no,
them?
no, I didn't crowdfund 16 books. I did crowdfund a few, but in between we made some others, some smaller titles or some titles that took a few years. So, and then when they're done, we throw them together with other crowdfunding books. So you get two books with one campaign, for instance, right? So yeah,
That's awesome. So 2 books in one campaign. That's a cool
sometimes we do
deal.
it that way. Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, you have I because I want to pull this up. This book has been catching my eye, and I think I'm honestly shocked with how good this title is and everything. That this is not that someone else hasn't come up with the name of it. I don't even know, but Perfect 10 being like that is such a perfect name for
Yeah,
a
that's
character.
crazy, right? I got lucky. I got lucky.
That's the like I keep doing this thing where I have these genius ideas and then I find out that there were someone else's genius ideas 50 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean
Yeah,
that's I guess
sometimes
that's
sometimes I have the same thing with characters also. So I have
oh
this
yeah.
this character created in the 90s and I don't do anything with it for like 25 years, right? And then I want to use it in this comic book and in 25 years no one else thought of the same concept for the character. So I'm just
Wow.
lucky, man. Yeah.
That's really good. So 25 years. So this is we could pull up this one first, or if you want to, before we get into this one specifically, just real quick, I like to always ask. So how did you first get into comics and writing? And you write, right? That's your
Yes, yes, I'm a writer, but that was because I didn't find anyone who could write the stories that were in
hmm
my head. I wanted to draw. I initially wanted to be a comic book artist, right?
hmm
Um, and I noticed that I had some difficulty working with writers because I was a bit too like controlling.
hmm
Um, and and at some point I just decided to try to do the writing myself. I didn't know if I could do it. Um, so I just studied the comic books that I liked, and I tried to figure out, why do I like these comic books? Why do these books work for me, right?
Hmm.
And I started writing my own series called Earthling. That was my first. That was in 2014. Um, and when I look back at it right now, um, I would do much better right now, but you have to start somewhere,
Oh
and
yeah.
at some point I got the hang of things, and now I quite enjoy writing. So writing is now my main passion, right? So I basically write scripts, I create characters, I make concepts, and I work together with artists who
Hmm.
then draw these books with me.
So do you design the characters then still or no?
Sometimes most characters I design, because when I have the concept, I have this clear idea how they're going
Hmm.
to look. But sometimes I don't know how they're going to look, and then I leave it up to the artist. Or in some cases, I even hire some artists to design specific characters for me, because I think they can do better, or they can other people have different ways of thinking, of visualizing things. And if I design every character, I think it's better now, because I'm creating this universe, and I want this wide variety of characters with designs and design elements that I can't think of, right? So when I hire other people to help me design characters, then you get this awesome variety of different styles, and that's awesome.
We have someone in the chat saying, "Yo, Dave.
Hey, Zaid.
Dave has some of the coolest characters in indie comics." Yeah, I haven't even read any of it, and I definitely want to.
Thank you,
And
man.
she perfect 10. That's what Jules said. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, I think that. So do you ever do interiors anymore or no?
Not really. I do sketches.
Hmm.
So I do character sketches, and I do sometimes layouts for
Hmm.
pages when I have a clear idea. This page needs to have this layout, but I try to give artists as much freedom as possible. I
Hmm.
That's why I hire them. So this is their thing, and I want them to put themselves into the book, their own style, their own vision.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to draw more, but I just don't have the time. And with writing and
Hmm.
running things, it's a lot of time.
I totally understand that. I'm learning to be the not the control freak. I'm and it's a struggle, but you get there. And it seems like you've really got a good grasp of that. But you mentioned that you were that no one else was doing exactly like what was in your head, which I think we all feel that way when we're creators. But what was it that like what comics really were you into that got you into writing?
Well, what got me into writing was the fact that no one could write the stories that I wanted to tell, and
Hmm.
the comics that got me interested in making my own comics. Um, that that was basically when Image started, and I
Hmm.
was like, hey, maybe we could do that also. And I was very young back then, but I I went to this creative school with other young artists, and I just asked around if other people were interested in making comics with me, right? So it started there, and we were very young, so we just learned things. We were still in school. We had other things to do, and we did this on the side. But it was fun, and we learned many things, um, especially what not to do. Right.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
I've
it's
learned
not.
plenty of that. I'm still learning plenty of that.
Yeah, yeah. You constantly learn, man.
Oh yeah, failure. It's the best teacher. But real quick, because you mentioned you went to school. Where are you from?
I'm from the Netherlands.
Netherlands. That's what I thought. That's cool. So were there a lot of like art schools? Was there a lot of art school stuff out there, or not really?
Well, it wasn't really a specific art school. It was more a school for marketing, commercial,
Mm-hmm.
for commercials, right? So you learn things like video editing and various forms of creative output. So you had a lot of creative people there. They were drawn to that specific like genre field, right? So, but we also had the normal classes, right? Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's so when you were doing comics, because I was like, which comics did you read? Did you have over there in the Netherlands? Did you have a lot of American comics? Were there comics that were more local to you, or?
Yeah. It started out with European comics. We have these special formats or European format comics here.
Right.
They have a different frequency that they come out, right?
Right.
So it's completely different model from the US model.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this little publisher here called Junior Press, and they translated American superhero comics to Dutch, and that was my first introduction to superhero books.
Oh,
And my very first book that I read was this large. I think you guys call it Treasury Edition, or
Treasury Edition. Hold on.
yeah,
Treasury Edition. I'm trying to think.
it's a large format comic. So it's pretty big, and it was this crossover title with Superman and Spider-Man.
Oh wow, that's a classic. That was
Yeah, so
who did that art? Was that was Garcia Lopez, right? Wasn't or no? No,
no,
that was Neil Adams, I think.
yeah, or
Was it?
Buscema. I'm
It's
not
gotta be
sure
one of
right
them.
now. I'm not sure, but I don't have the book no more. But that was
You should have
my
sold
very
it.
no. What's so I don't know what happened to it, man. I moved house like many times in 25 years, so somewhere it got lost along the way. But
You don't know how much that's on eBay right now? It's
I don't want to
1,500
know. I don't want to know.
at least. No, it's tragic, man. That happened to yeah, I can't even imagine.
Well, yeah.
But so that one really inspired you. Was that your first introduction to those characters then?
Yeah. So I didn't know Superman yet. I didn't know Spider-Man. And I was like, wow, this is awesome, right? This is great. I want to know more about these characters. And so I started to read more and buy more of these American books. And I found out that not only was this a special edition, but also that these characters didn't belong in the same universe. So my first introduction was this company crossover, and I wasn't even aware, right? It was really special. So I learned there are like two big publishers, and they have different universes.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, that's such a crazy starting point to have, like
yes,
a company crossover like that, where it's like, oh, you know, like you think it's already crazy enough getting into like main crossovers where you have all that continuity, but to have it be like, oh, they'll cross over again, and then you learn it's just not that case at all. That must be
it
that must
was
have been
really
confusing.
special. Yeah.
That's that's definitely really special. And you know, it's crazy that like they haven't been able to do that. I don't think
With all the rights and everything, it's a hassle, man.
See, yeah, no, absolutely. So I think what did I want to? Yeah, I think that's really fascinating. So did you have any favorite artists then, or did you have any favorite series going off of that point?
Yeah, John Byrne was my favorite. I bought everything that he made. His Fantastic Four run is still the best Fantastic Four run ever.
Oh wow, yeah. People either say that or Kirby and Lee.
Yes. And then we had like later on you had artists like Madurara and Jim Lee, and I had a favorite artist in the '90s called Scott Clark, and many people don't really know the name, but he was this fill-in artist for titles that were already going, and he came in later, or he drew this spin-off series. But his style was absolutely awesome. I loved his work, man, and later on, I really loved series like Invincible and The Walking Dead, and also the writing style from Kirkman that inspired me very much.
Mm-hmm. Those are, I've been. It's funny. I've heard so much of those things. I've seen the Walking Dead show. I need to read Kirkman's work, but I know everyone praises his stuff. That it's some of the best in recent years. And I haven't read it yet. And I know you mentioned Image. I feel like everyone has at least like one or at least a couple of the favorite Image boys. Did you have any favorites of the Image guys?
Well, yeah, Silvestri, Jim Lee,
Oh yeah.
yeah, those were my favorites.
Those are mine too.
I really liked the Savage Dragon back in the day. Nowadays, it's gone off the rails, right? But back then, those first years were fantastic, man. Savage Dragon was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people I know loved it back in the 90s.
And Michael Turner later on.
Michael Turner. I was just looking at his art. So were you inspired by him when it came to Perfect 10?
No.
Oh,
no.
Really? I was wondering because I was actually earlier I was thinking of a story idea for someone wanted me to write something for them. You know who you are, or maybe you don't, but someone I'm writing for, and I was like, there was a scene, and I was like, oh, how did Michael Turner do that scene? And I was looking at it because he just draws some amazing. I discovered him unfortunately after he died, like only like a couple years ago, but he's probably my favorites. I mean, his stuff is
details in his work is astonishing. He had this natural talent also, man.
It's crazy. I mean, there's only like a few like artists that you could really think of. Even some of my favorites, you look at their first issues and they're good, but it's not like mind blowing. There are a few that like you read and you instantly are just blown away. Like Michael Turner's. To be fair, in the 90s, I know they gave them more deadlines or less deadline, right? Like weren't they a little because they understood that. And then also Art Adams was another one where his stuff is amazing. But I know you mentioned the European model, and what's interesting is it almost feels like, at least with crowdfunding, that we're kind of going back to that in a way. Or not back to, I guess, because we were never that. But, with the industry shifting in so many directions, I'm sure it's comfortable to you. For an American, I mean, at least I was like, oh, I want to do a book every month. But then, reality is reality.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. If I can get a book out in a year, that'll be a miracle. But it's crazy. The European model, I know so many artists prefer it. I assume you do too, or?
Well, preferred if possible. If I could, I would churn out books every month, man. But it's just not feasible. It can't be done. So if you can produce one book of a series every year, then we're quite content. Then we have this frequency, right? And next to that, we can do other titles, maybe 2 titles per year. If we're lucky, we can do 3 books in 1 year, but that's the max. Then we're absolutely stacked with work. There's so much that we want to do, but we just don't have the resources or the manpower, and even with the funds, it's still a lot of work, man.
Oh yeah.
And you have to do your own fulfillment also, so that takes so much time. Sometimes
I've heard that. That's the part I'm most afraid of. I want to make a lot of money, and I'm like, I want as many people to back.
Sure.
I'm kind of just gonna pretend like I don't have to pack up everything for a little bit, and then I'll be horrified, when it gets there. But
yeah.
I know I've had so many people just tell me that like fulfillment is just the most painful, especially you're from the Netherlands. So when it comes to shipping new Americans, like I know international shipping is just a whole pain, right?
Yes. but I think our shipping prices are reasonable. I can ship for $15 across the planet. So everything for the United States, I ship to Critical Blast, and they do the distribution there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that saves a lot of that saves me time, and that saves some money for the backers especially. And Europe, I just ship myself. But my biggest audience is definitely the United States.
That's awesome. And I know that's great to hear because I feel like with getting a printer, in somewhere else is just such a no-brainer. But I also understand that, say, if only one person orders in Australia, well, you can't, if you,
Right. Yeah.
that might be more expensive. But like, I think having printers all over is just a fantastic idea. And yeah, if I get that big, I'd love to get someone else to fulfill. But baby steps, baby steps.
Yeah. Indeed. Indeed.
We'll get there. So
And
you,
and
oh,
and
I'm sorry.
printing everywhere is it sounds good, right? But I get nervous when I have to print my books somewhere else, so it's cheaper to ship them around to that country, right? You print them there and you ship them there, right?
Mhm.
But every book that goes out, I want to see. I want to do my own
Right.
quality control, right? So it's better that I print everything here.
Mhm.
So maybe a little bit more expensive for the shipping, but at least that I've seen every book that gets into your hands, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's another thing where it's like you have to learn to kind of let go, but it's absolutely, you want to make sure that they're in good condition and that the books look right. Um,
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
because every like print run also they have some imperfect editions. They have like little smudges or mistakes or printing errors or whatever. I have to you have to filter those out, you know.
I didn't know that it's cheaper to ship to the US than from the US. That's so weird. Yeah. I didn't know that. Okay, so that's a problem for me, but I'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So you mentioned some of your favorite artists, and real quick, so you mentioned Sylvester and Lee. I love those guys too. Were you a big X-Men guy then, or no?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. The X-Men were fantastic, especially the Chris Claremont era
Mhm.
with Jim Lee, right? Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now. That's what inspired me to do comics. My next issue I have to read is the first appearance of Gambit, so that's exciting.
Right.
Um, and what's funny is I always assumed Jim Lee did that issue, but because he created Gambit, but he didn't. Jim Lee didn't do that issue or even the cover, which I find interesting. Um,
Oh, the issue
where
where
Gambit
Gambit
first appears, so he
first
created
appears.
Gambit, but Mike Collins did the pencils. He was the fill-in artist, and then Andy Kubert did the cover.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I love that stuff. I assume so as soon as you mentioned those two. And I know Wills came in afterward, Portacio. He did some great Punisher stuff too. But yeah, I
Mhm.
love those guys' stuff. My first comic ever, let's see, was Batman Hush. So that was my
Oh,
introduction
really? That
to
was your
more.
first one?
So they set the
Awesome.
bar very high.
Yes. That's a good book to start with.
Oh yeah. Set the bar very high. And yeah, I mean, I think like it's just a really cool business model that you got. But let's talk about. So I did also want to ask because we talked about your artists. What about some of your favorite writers? Do you have any, or was it?
Yeah, well, Claremont. Then
Mhm,
we have Kirkman
mhm,
is one of my favorites. I learn a lot from Kirkman and John Byrne. Those are my favorites,
mhm.
really. So the list is not that long
Yeah.
of favorite books that I continue to read over and over. You know, it's
Oh yeah.
I I I kind of when I read stuff, that's a problem when you're this writer. You read stuff and you always approach it from this writer's standpoint. So
Oh
you try to take something from it.
yeah. Mhm.
Um,
Sometimes I have to tell myself, stop. Just you're relaxing now. Just enjoy the
yes,
comic
yeah,
because I'm like,
right.
I'm looking. One of the things I stress out about is I'm always like afraid I'm putting too many word balloons, and then I'm like, wait a minute, they were able to do 1 million here, or oh, there was only a few. That's my
Yeah,
my biggest stressor, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna pay someone else to do. They're gonna worry about that, okay? And they
right.
could tell me how wrong I am later. Um, you know. So perfect 10. So now we could talk about this. So you mentioned you said you came up with this idea in the 90s?
Yeah. Yes,
So
it's
were you
the basic concept is from the 90s. So I completely rewrote it, right, for nowadays. So I dusted this off, this idea, when I got into contact with the artist Paul Rodrigues.
Mhm.
So Paul Rodrigues did some pinups for us, and I told him, Paul, I want to work with you on a book sometimes, man. And he was like, sure. Like, of course, everyone wants to work with Paul Rodrigues. And then I had this concept from the 90s, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this is it. I just have to update things, rearrange the story, restructure things. I changed the main character completely,
Mhm.
but the basic principle stayed the same. And I showed Pau the script, and he was like, "Yeah, man, let's do this." So it's an old concept with a fresh uh, paint job.
Gotcha. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. There we go. We got check. Everyone, make sure to check this out. This is going to be really cool. And
This cover, by the way, this cover is not by Pau Rodrigues, but it's drawn by
it's
Eduardo da Souza.
mhm.
Because this is the second print of the first issue. We were almost sold out of the first issue. We needed a second printing, and might as well slap this new cover on it. And I was so happy that Eduardo wanted to do this cover for us, right? So the first cover will always be by the main artist. So in
Right.
this case, Pau, and then for new editions, then we can have like guest artists doing the covers.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. And I really like Pow's. I've only seen like again some pinups and stuff, but I really like Pow's art. It's like cartoony, but like I don't know how to describe it. I love it. I love his art, and I
Yeah,
like
it's awesome.
this. I did think I was like, wow, her face is really cool, but it's not as cartoony. So that makes sense that it's a different artist.
Yeah, and the hairstyle is also different. There
Right.
there are there are few artists who can draw her hair exactly like I want it.
Hmm.
But
Hair is a
Eduardo, he
tough.
came close. He came close.
Hair is a tough. I had a
Yeah,
character that wanted to have a very distinct hairstyle, and I'm like I feel so because I imagine hair must be a pain, but I'm like you know what man, it's got to be right. There's certain people that can
yeah,
like it's good man. Like the hairstyle, that's something that people think about a lot. Even little things like I get mad when Superman doesn't have the spit girl. Personally, it really
right.
bothers me. Like
Yeah,
just the little things like they matter.
yeah,
Or
the
like what
details. Yeah,
else? Cannonball should always have that like hair. I don't even know how to. J. Jonah Jameson should always have the same haircut. I don't. Harry Osborn. I don't even know what I would call that. But hairstyle. It's a small thing, but it goes a long way.
it's really difficult also to create new hairstyles for different characters each time. So when you have it, when you have a unique hairstyle, you have to make it
Mhm.
a definition of the character. So you have to
Yeah.
stay at that.
And it's also I remember people have always said that like if character is silhouetted and you can recognize them, that's a good thing. And hairstyle
Yes,
is something that really stands out.
exactly, exactly.
And so that's something that I get very picky about. So were you inspired? You mentioned you came up with this in the 90s. Was this like inspired in any way by the Bad Girl era?
I don't know.
Like
I
she
maybe I think through symbiosis I
Mhm.
absorbed like the 90s vibe. So I think I got inspired by many things,
Mhm.
but the basic principle was that we were so I was making this universe with with a few other people. We were working together to build a superhero universe, like the Image guys, right? Um, and I knew I wanted this artificial character that was created. So she wasn't human; she was like humanoid,
Hmm.
like an android. So I had to figure out the story around that. So why was she created? What's the purpose? Who created her? So from that came the story. So it started basically with that I wanted a artificial character. That was basically it.
Okay, so then that brings me to what it's about. So she's artificial.
Yeah.
So so how would you describe the story then? What's it about?
Uh, so so this character is called Ten. She is created in what's called the. So we have this universe, right? We have this superior universe, and we have also a lot of super villains. And most people who get superpowers will use them for selfish reasons, for selfish gains, for world domination, and all that thing to control others. So you have the good guys, but you have more bad guys, and you have more bad guys than they can handle. So even the superheroes struggle with it. So there was this secret like organization. They created something called the Perfection Program, and they made these artificial heroes
Hmm.
that they were obedient, and they were equipped to take out these super powered criminals. These super powered criminals needed to die. So it was like just wipe them out. So the superheroes can be the face of the company, like we do good work, we're saving people, and meanwhile behind the scenes, super crooks get basically murdered, right, by these so-called synthoids. um, and something happens, and Ten is taken out of the program, and she wants to stay out. She doesn't want to be an assassin,
Hmm.
but the villains want revenge. So they want revenge for all the comrades that she killed. So the story kicks off with her waking up in the lab. She's being attacked by supervillains, and she has to survive. And the entire series is a non-stop action-packed, like it keeps moving. So the entire series is the same day also. So each new issue takes place directly after the last one.
Wow, you got Randy Green to do a back cover.
Yes. Oh, so that's great. Randy Green is a friend of Pow. So Pow brought him in for this
Oh wow.
poster. I was so excited, man. It's absolutely
Yeah,
bonkers.
yeah. His Witchblade stuff is very good too.
Yes, his Witchblade stuff is fantastic, and he did like Dolls was his creator own series. It was great.
Oh, I don't think I'll have to read that.
Yeah,
It was a hard act to follow, Michael Turner. He did a really good job.
yeah, it did great. The thing is with the artists that follow these flagship artists for one of these big titles. I think it's a mistake for them to try to copy these former artists. They have to just
Hmm.
use their own thing and give their own spin, and at some point it'll catch on.
Absolutely. And sometimes I know sometimes artists will like start off similar and then they
Mm.
kind of slowly ease them
Yeah.
into a newer style. I think Frank Miller kind of did that a bit, where he kind of, you know, eased people into a different style. But yeah, I mean, this is just, it's fantastic. All this right here. So so you go out of your way to add these cool back covers. So what made you inspired to do that?
Well, we just had a lot of pinups, and I was thinking, what should we do with the back covers? I could put the Genuine Comics logo on there, and that's it, or something. But might as well make a back cover of this pretty art that we had. Might as well use the art. And now for new issues, we're specifically creating new art for the back covers. Um, so we sometimes have guest artists also. The back cover for issue 3 is made by Alan Goldman.
Mhm.
Um, that's a fantastic piece. Also, it just does so much cool artwork that I want to give people as much cool stuff for the money as possible.
Yeah, this one is the one I used the thumbnail. You've got a lot of great covers here too. Normally I'm not crazy about. Oh, this is a print. Okay, because I kept seeing this. It's a free. So it's every physical order gets a free print. I love these. Is this like a cover size print?
Yeah, it's the same size
I love those.
as the
I
book.
love those. Yeah.
And that print we made specifically for this Second Chance campaign.
And then
Yeah, this is a second book that you can also get with this campaign. So this is Crossworlds is I needed this title for a comic that wasn't canon, so that isn't really part of the universe, but it's a crossover between our universe and, in this case, Antarctic Press. They have the character Camilo Wallace. So he meets 10 in this story. It's a fun little story. It's a one shot, so one issue, one shot, and it's over and done with. It's outside of the continuity, but it's goofy. It's humoristic. It's a little bit different. It's fun.
Absolutely. I got these are all. This is okay. So this is like I think back in the day they would kind of have like questionable canon crossovers with like some of the 90s stuff. Like I know Witchblade. It's kind of is it canon? Is it not? So that's really cool that you.
That's difficult when you make things canon, especially with crossovers with other companies.
Yeah,
that can create some problems sometimes. So rather not.
Yeah. People always wonder why, and it's the logistics of it all. It's really all it is. Even like it was weird, the X-Men Teen Titans crossover. I'm not sure if you ever read that. They kind of just pretend like they were in the same universe the whole time.
Right.
And they don't even address that. Like, no, these are like even the Teen Titans, like, oh, the X-Men, they're just I've heard nothing but they're this. And I'm like, no, you haven't.
There's this crossover, by the way. There's this crossover drawn by Silvestri of the X-Men meeting the original Star Trek crew.
Really?
Yeah, Star Trek X-Men. That was from the 90s also. So that era, and I'm still looking for that book. I want that book, man.
That's really cool. So do these prints come with every purchase?
Yes, with every physical order you get 2 free prints plus a stack of cards that we have.
Awesome. That's fun. That's really cool. So we got these prints that are free. All this stuff with this campaign. You mentioned Second Chance. So you did this once somewhere else. Have they already shipped the earlier versions or no?
Yeah. We did it 3 times even. For each issue we had a different campaign. So they're all done. They're all printed. Everything is done, and I ship out every week. So orders that come in, I ship them out weekly, so you don't have to wait long before you get it.
That's incredible. Yeah, Fund My Comic, you could just keep it up in perpetuity, right?
Yeah. In this case, it lasts 10 more days, 10 or 9 more days, and then things end. And then I can focus my attention to other things. But you can also get digitals. So if you want to give it a try, for $7 you have a digital comic, right? And I can send it out immediately to your email.
I'm just eyeing this. So I didn't realize there were 3 different issues. So you've got. That's great. And how long are you planning on doing this for the foreseeable future? Or do you have an end in sight? Or
yes, there's an end. It will be 5 issues in total.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're now working on issue 4, and then after that 1 more, and then this arc is done. And then we'll have more comics with the same characters, but for this arc we need 5 issues.
Are you going to do more Perfect 10, or are you just going to have her cross over and other stuff? Or
Perfect 10 will continue in some other form. So she now has basically her own title. This is like to introduce the character, but then she will move over to this team book I want to write a team book, right? So
Hmm.
I've never done that before, and and she will be part of that series.
I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun.
Yes,
Team book.
yes.
That's really cool. I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to back this. I see. So you have all these covers. You have a catch up tier.
Hmm. Yeah,
I know you have other books. Do you have other books in this universe already out?
yeah, yeah. We have a lot of books out. Unfortunately, I can't really put them in this campaign because you get too many combinations. You can't have add-ons with Fatma Comic yet. It's a very new platform, right? So the add-on option isn't there, and I don't want to like make 100 like perks with different combinations.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're now focusing on the Perfect 10 and Crossworlds because the Crossworlds there because 10 is part of that also. But besides this, we have other comics also. Yeah, yeah, and
And I know you.
we sell books also on our own web store.
Yeah, I was about to pull that up. I know you do have a web store. Let me. Uh, Raven Comics website right here, everyone. So make sure to check that out. It looks like you can get some of the other books there. Do you have to? Do you recommend people read some of the other books before they back this one? Does it matter, or is
No,
there?
no, no, you don't need to. In fact, I think Perfect 10 is for new readers. Perfect 10 is the perfect jumping on point
Awesome.
because she is like new in this world, and so she's a perfect stand-in for the reader to discover this universe with.
All right, that's really all right. So that's a perfect starting point. Then I'll have to check it
Hmm.
out, and I think this is great. And did you do? Was American Bliss is someone else's character, right?
No,
Or
that's also
that's you? That's
my
okay.
character,
Okay,
but
I did think
yeah,
so.
but
Yeah.
it's written by Michael Oden.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
and you
so
just, but you did you draw up the character to begin with, or?
yeah, I designed the character. So so American Bliss first appeared in a book called Power Trip. That's wait, do we have it here?
Let me see.
Let me see. Yeah, here. Have it here. This is a anthology book called Power Trip,
Oh,
and
let
it
me.
is three shorter stories. So it has
Oh,
three short stories because we have so many concepts that I can't make like a full issue for every idea that we have. So
mhm.
this is like a testing ground. We have specific teams for the stories. So these are written and drawn by different people. And American Bliss was first introduced here, written by myself and drawn by Pau, and people loved it so much they wanted more. And then I talked with Michael Oden about him writing something for us, and he was like, "I want to write her." So, and he pitched this idea for a mini series which follows after this short story. So that's how it started.
Make sure to check all these out. I didn't mean to zoom in on you too much. I'm sorry. Yeah, make sure to check these out.
Okay.
These are all great. These all look great. I can't wait to check it out. I love the character designs too. Is that something you really put a lot of time into when it comes to, I know you mentioned you sketch some stuff up, but
Yeah.
do you make sure to spend a lot of time on the character designs?
Sometimes I get them in one sketch. I'm like, yeah, this is it. And some characters are just a nightmare to get right. So some characters can take months to get the final design for. And
Mhm.
Perfect 10 was one of the difficult ones.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah,
What was one of the most difficult parts? The hair?
like find the right visual for her. I wasn't really sure. I knew she had to look badass, and I knew she had to have this uniform, more like it's not really a superhero costume. It's more like a uniform that all
Mhm.
the synthoids were wearing with the number on it. um, so these were the basics, and um, The first designs of her were completely different. She had like long red hair, for instance, and then later on she got white hair, and even the first page that Pau drew. So we were already in the so this page, right? So this
Yeah.
was the first ever page that Pau drew for the sequential art, and there she still had the long white hair, and I wasn't sure about it, and I saw this photo of this model with this wild short hair, and I was like, "That's it!" And I sent it to Pau. I was like, "Pau, this is the hairstyle." So he digitally had to redo the hairstyle. Um, Luckily, we caught it quite early,
Mhm.
but yeah, but some characters just are difficult to get right.
Hair, man, hair can be very difficult. Hair
Yeah.
is it's one of those things that's like so small, but it makes such a big difference. It really does. But once it's done, it's done. Again, this character design alone and the name, Perfect 10. I mean, it's just a perfect, no pun intended. That was completely unintentional. It's a perfect
Yeah.
way to, like, it's a great design can draw someone in, and I think you totally nailed it here.
Yeah, and sometimes with the name alone, you can already get a hook for the story. So with Perfect 10, I knew, okay, she has the number 10. So why does she have the number 10? So from that also comes this little like subplot.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the name. It's so. Did you come up with the name first then?
No, I had the concept. What it had a completely different name in the beginning. There were two characters, so it was this duo, and now I combined them to one character.
Mhm.
So I had to have a completely new title. I also wanted this title that was catchy, um, and I knew it had to have this number also to emphasize the fact that she was artificial. She was just
Right.
a number in this machine, in this organization,
Right.
and then Perfect 10 came from that. Yeah.
So a lot of steps, but look where it all led.
Yes. Yes.
Look where it all led. I mean, again, the art and everything. So it's how many pages total per issue?
Each issue is 32 pages, and with that comes the cover, so total 36. The first issue has like 24 sequential pages, and the rest is pinups by various artists.
Hmm.
And then second issue has 28 sequential pages, like story, and then the rest is pinups. And the third issue is completely story, so no pinup section no more. So each book has the same page count. Um, yeah.
All right, that's
So
really
the
cool.
story just grew. It just grew, and I needed more room to tell the story.
It's really cool. The page count and all that. It's really cool seeing it just progress and progress in the number based on the way you're describing it. And
Yeah.
80 pages. And it's how let's see, it's 13 an issue. So that's a really good deal. That's a really good deal. Everyone makes, and again, three different covers plus the prints. I mean, this is a hell of a deal. Everyone should definitely get on this campaign.
Yeah, I personally don't like too many covers, too
Yeah.
many that gets me nervous. Too many variants. I get like when I visit like a Kickstarter campaign or whatever, and have like 17 covers, I just check out, man. It's
Hmm.
it's it's not
It's
my
too much.
thing. Yeah, it's too much. So my absolute maximum is three, and we did that one time. They had three covers. So for now you can get like two covers for issue three. Perfect 10 issue three has two covers that you can choose from. I had to put them in different like perks to make it work, but you can
Right.
get the catch up tier with either issue 3 cover A or issue 3 cover B.
Both of those covers are great.
Yeah.
These Is this one an homage? Hold on.
Ooh.
This hold on. This page, is this one an homage to an X-Men cover?
The Crossworld Commission?
This one right here.
Oh wait, no, I don't think so.
Hold on. I thought I.
Really?
Uh,
If it is, Power never told me.
yeah. Oh, it definitely is.
It is?
Yeah. Ready?
Now I want to see.
I haven't read the issue yet, but I've seen the cover
wow.
many times.
You caught that, right? Power never told me, man.
See that?
Oh, the legs. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Unless it's just similar.
Yeah. You know,
Could just be-
it's a classic thing, like the legs. You can do a lot with it. So you change the angle a little bit. Sometimes you have it specifically straight
Yeah.
from the back.
Yeah, it could just be a coincidence, honestly. It's just, but it's either way, it's cool, and
Yeah, it was like every time you have to think about what do we put on the cover. I wanted the cover to reflect what happens in the issue somehow, so not really random. In the 90s, you had too many random covers, right? You had just had a pin-up, basically. But I wanted the cover to reflect what's happening or something from the book.
that's another thing too. There's a lot of covers that are just pinups nowadays that say nothing about the plot.
Yeah, and so for the cover for issue 3, so this cover, I wanted to show the big villain, but not really show the big villain. So this was the solution.
And I think it works very well. I think that's again, you get a progression, even down to the back covers. That's storytelling right here too. You know, a lot of people think that if they have like a hot character or whatever, that, and you can certainly obviously get away with that. But all these covers, one thing that really drew me to your book, and one reason I wanted to have you on for, you know, in part because this book really caught my eye and I wanted to hear more about it. Is all these have something to do with the story, and it's my same mentality when it comes to covers, because obviously it's great to have multiple covers, especially if you have the opportunity to work with multiple artists or try your story from multiple angles, right?
Right.
But you know, you have this restraint, and the fact that you also do prints is great too. I love these extra prints. I know, you know, not everyone does them, but when someone does them, especially if they're free and it's a new piece of art, I always appreciate it.
Yeah. The prints are basically some of the easiest things to offer people, because we just make so much art. We often make like art before we do the production for the book. We have like pre-production work to get a feel for the characters or the world or whatever. So in this case, I wanted Pau to get this feeling for the superhero team. So this was his first time drawing them, and we might as well pick this print from it, so we actually use it, you know.
And I think it looks great. Again, I really do.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's fantastic stuff, man. I'm such a fan of Pau. I still can't believe I get to work with him.
He's great.
It's crazy.
His art is very distinct too. You could always recognize it, you know, when it's not. And all these other artists are great too, but you could just instantly, without even, and his signature is great too, but you could just instantly tell he has this cartoony style that's like not too cartoony, but it's like very distinctive. It's not like any American comic artist really, or any manga artist either. It's because I know people always just see it as the two styles, that it's just like those two and that's it. But like he's got this beautiful in between area, and
and he has this animated thing also where he does perfect expressions, for instance, for the situations. Sometimes I just write this script and then he adds like movement, which totally fits the emotional like scene, the emotion of the scene, and the character expressions. I'm such a fan of his work, man.
Yeah, I am too. I think character expressions is another thing that's super important. You know, if you like making, you can really, when a character really expresses themselves, even right here, right? Like,
look at that. Yeah.
Yeah,
expression.
there's so much emotion from both of them right here.
So even without the dialogue, you leave the dialogue out. You can tell what's going on. They
Right.
don't really like each other and stuff. It's yeah, it's great.
It's
Love
all
this.
it's all fantastic right here. Yeah, again, it's so much in each and everything right here too. Look at like the
Yeah,
closed eye, the bleeding. Like this is all. There's so much detail here, and yet it's not like too overcomplicated.
yeah.
It's great.
It
It's
has personality. It's
yeah,
not just someone standing there, but it's actual.
yeah.
You can see personality there.
Right here too. Look at all the expressions, and just this is just one splash page here,
Hmm.
here, here. It's I love it.
Yeah.
Here, there. It's so good. This is I can't wait to check this book out. I know I'm going to really enjoy it. I think all of you guys should too. And what else do you have coming up? Obviously, Perfect 10 4.
Yeah, Perfect 10 4. We're working on that. I'm also working on Power Trip issue 2 with 3 new short stories. One of them is written by Lee Byron Carver from the Company Man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in the works, but the main focus at this point is trying to get Perfect 10 issue 4 done.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest can follow. I can't do too many projects at once.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I get it. So everyone make sure to back this one. So where else can people find you? I know you're on YouTube. I totally forgot. I keep forgetting about this feature where we could both stream like
Yes,
together. But everyone, so make
I
sure to
am
follow.
streaming. I am streaming on my channel also.
Yeah, I realized that now. So I'm gonna make sure. Am I all right? Now I'm subscribed to you. So we'll fix that.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone, make sure to get Genuine Comics some subscriptions. Let's make sure to do that. I'm putting that link in the chat. Make sure to check out this book. Share it around. And any questions at all, obviously, you can feel free to ask him. It was so great having you on. I'd love to have you on again. Is there anything else you want to promote before we depart?
To promote, I like to promote. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like. I do every Sunday. I also do this. I interview other indie creators.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, every Sunday on a drink with Brink. So please subscribe and please share out this campaign. So if you can't back, it's understandable. Just share it. And you can check out our website at jamoncomics.com. And you can find me also on Instagram, Jamon Comics. So that's basically it. And thank you very much, Vaughn, for having me on today.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
No, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad you got to come on. And keep it up, keep doing this, and I'm looking forward to backing it. It's my first. I'm going to be jumping on for the first time, and I'm sure a lot of other people will be too. So, thank you guys so much. And next week I will have a guest. I'm figuring out the logistics of who exactly it's going to be. I have some people in mind, but I'm not going to announce it officially yet. But I will have a guest next week, so tune in for that. And tune in for my stream Sunday night. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great one, and be well.
Bye.